Howdy, howdy. Shout out to anybody. Does anybody know anybody in the Veterans Administration in the United States of America? Or anybody that could help me with some massive amounts of stolen identity? Again, today I spent all day arguing with the Veterans Administration, just like I have been other days, and they continue to tell me that's not their job and not their problem, concerning that I have been robbed and that I have stolen identity. And they continue to piss me off every day while I'm being robbed. And now I have no food, and that makes me even more aggravated. And these people are stealing my entire life, stealing my retirements and everything else. Well, one of the things they didn't take into consideration is that things like the fact that I helped do all the setup and was working IT side of designing the e-benefits center of the Veterans Administration at the time. So I worked through the Department of Finance and Accounting Services and did all the programming on the websites and design and all that kind of stuff. And I know all the ins and outs of all that. So when they lie to me, and they went as much today as to tell me a lie, when I've gotten a notebook right here beside me, report numbers and case numbers that I reported to them, and now I contact numerous people, and they continually tell me, now my past reports don't exist. And they went also further after telling them that, hey, I'm stranded alongside the road, I'm homeless, and have been this way for a while because I've been a victim of organized crime and being robbed. So they illegally send out letters under title, and have been this way for a while because I've been a victim of organized crime and being robbed. So they illegally send out letters under Title 18 crime and being robbed. So they illegally send out letters under Title 18 USC 1342 to a fictitious address that doesn't exist in violation of federal law, and then just keep going on with this huge mess of organized crime. Mind you, this is the United States Veterans Administration and the Department of Finance and Accounting Services. Now, I've written and spoken to attorney inspectoral generals, written letters, AIGs, OIGs, written to all the right people and all the right things, and still not getting any answers. So, I mean, does my country owe me? Yes, they absolutely do. And here's the thing, between 2015 and 2025, there were over 46,000 veterans that have lost their lives to the vast criminal organization of crime of the people of the United States. Now, you're not going to tell me that these people are getting into critical infrastructure and some of the most secure databases in the entire United States of America without them having inside access and being somewhat affiliated with government employment in some form, fashion, or way. That just don't happen, period. And the only way that they can access that kind of stuff is by doing that. And you know what's really bad? When I am the real living, in the flesh person speaking to you, and somebody that's not me is living my life, stealing everything that belongs to me and stealing my identity, and I, for the third time in my life, can't even get my hands on my own documents. That's pretty sad. I'm the real live guy right here. And somebody that's not me is stealing my identity, stealing my pay, my retirements, my benefits, and living my life that isn't me, and they're getting away with it every day. While I'm stranded and struggling out beside the highway, I have no food left. I have no money whatsoever. I have a bottle of water left and about 5 days of phone time left. I ain't sure what to do, but this situation has gotten way out of hand, way out of control with the amounts of government corruption, the real organized crime within these people doing all this. And they targeted me for socioeconomic standards and violations of H.R. Bill 350 of domestic terrorism. I mean, that's a real deal. And, I've been around, let me tell you, I used the last resources I had, and I traveled through numerous states all across the east of the Mississippi. And going to veterans, being a veteran, I went to over 22 different veterans locations, VSOs, VBAs, veterans locations, and all kinds of different resources trying to seek hope. And it's been the same thing. These people conspired against me. They intimidated, coerced, deprivation of rights under color of law, extreme amounts of discrimination, and no help. I mean, it's like these people are absolutely incompetent idiots. And, you know, they don't know their job. I mean, if I was in control of some of these people, they would not have a job because I would fire them and terminate them on the spot for, you know, lack of confidence in the performance of their job duties. And you can't, when your own life is at risk, my life is at risk right now. This is turning into being a life-threatening situation to me because I have no food to eat. I have no water left to drink. I have no money. I have no way to take care of my own basic needs after working and honoring my country for my entire life. And now these people are still taking part in organized crime every day. And it's impossible to get anything done without any help. It's so bad that the Army CID, I tried to write them, and I told them that I had stolen valor, that these people stole my valor. And you know what? They tell me not their problem. How horrible of a country and military do you have that doesn't even support their own? That's pretty bad. That's worse than bad. You know, I mean, what kind of country do you live in that you write a part of history in, grow million, billion, $1 trillion business, honor your nation out of bravery and loyalty and honor, and do so with self-sacrificing love and passion to your nation? And yet these people turn around and steal your entire life away. All the organized crime syndicates, all the real domestic terrorists. And that's what they are. And, you know, I've tried over and over and over. It's the same thing with the Veterans Administration, all the other government agencies. These people are targeting me. They have done so maliciously with malicious actions, intentional and willful. I'm all alone out here, and I'm stranded outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And here just about 4 weeks ago, I went to the Veterans Administration there. And I walked in with a t-shirt on in bold black magic marker letters saying I am a veteran and explaining the entire situation all over my shirt, and walked in front of surveillance cameras, mind you. And they still would not help me and would not point me in the right direction or provide any assistance or resources to correct the situation that should have been a 14-day turnaround time in getting a resolve on. And then I proceeded to go to the veterans police officers and sat down with the veterans police and talked to them for over an hour, and still tried to get them to take a piece of paper, file out identity theft reports in the whole 9 yards, and they would not even as much as take a piece of paper or report. Same thing. Now, going all the way back for 2 and 3 years, I've talked to police officers and tried to go into their police departments and say, hey, look, I need to fill out stolen identity forms. Some of these people came out with their forms in their hand, put them behind their backs, laughed at me to my face, and walked away saying they would refuse to help me. Again, being a deprivation of rights under color of law, extreme amounts of discrimination, and furthermore, obstruction of justice. So what does that say about some of your finest out there on the east side right now? Obviously not a whole lot, because they want to take part in organized crime and, you know, stealing my business every day, stealing my properties, still suffering a complete loss of my life. And what does that say for a guy that's helped do everything from Microsoft to Apple, AT&T, modern technology, the invention of music CDs, to solar energy, and Department of Defense contractor and space engineering and aeronautics? And they stole all that too. So what does that really say about my country being a vast criminal organization of people? Yeah, it's bad enough that I had contracts for construction. I even built some sheriff departments and built some federal buildings and stuff like that. And also had other aspects of my career. They walk off and steal all that. You want to answer me a question, how, if you're doing a contract on a federal building for a federal law enforcement agency, and all of that comes up stolen, and the same federal agency can't even investigate that? How bad is that? That's really bad. And that is absolutely horrible. So, Tom Brokaw, I used to know some of the old ones like that. Tom Brokaw, Walter Cronkite, yep. I used to know like Julius Hunter, Larry Connors, and all them guys from some of the news crews way back then. Some of the newer folks I don't really know. But yeah, even though Barbara Walters with 2020, I used to know Barbara Walters. And, you know, some of these people used to help me out in the past when the vast criminal organization of people in the United States was attacking me like this. But, you know, I mean, things are pretty serious right now. And I really need some help, and I need some financial help, and I need some real friends. I need a place to stay and chill. Something besides sleeping in a truck in the back of a Jeep. I'm in a Jeep right now, and I don't know really where to go. I don't know what to do. And the crimes are continuing. I have no way to support myself. I have no way to get to any resources. And every time you ask somebody in law enforcement for help, they tell you to talk to a federal agency. You talk to a federal agency, and they just run you around in circles, and you can't even speak to anybody. Oh, while some retard out here, some criminal piece of shit's stealing my life away every day. It's gotten way out of hand. It's way out of control, y'all. And if they did this to me with the protections, safeties, and securities that I was supposed to have in my life, what are they doing to everybody else? How many more people are the same people hurting? How many more people have to suffer all of this kind of stuff before somebody takes notice and says, you know, enough's enough? Because it's gotten to the point that, yes, fact, enough is enough. And I've had enough of it. It's just like Casey's General Stores. I had ownership in Casey's General Stores and other fuel station convenience stores and stuff like that. And I had one lady, she walked away with about $900 million on me. Still stealing it to this day. And she was a person that I originally hired as a secretary to help me on some things. And when I was working cases of recovering abducted children and things like that. So some of these folks just turned straight up evil and are still stealing my life away every day. I don't really know what to do about anything, but I know my health's failing. I've got hypoglycemia from not eating much food. And, you know, it's just a serious situation, and I'm not getting anything done through the VA. I'm not getting anything done through DFAS or the federal government. Not getting anything done with anything. I mean, you can't believe how horrible these people really are. Yep, I'm doing pretty good for what I'm doing right now. You know, I know exactly what I did, and some of these people leaving horrible comments, if that's all you have to say, then I suggest you move along. Because I am who I am, and I know my own life and my own work, and I happen to be a victim of organized crime. And matter of fact, people, I have suffered attempted murder in the past. So I don't think it's very funny, not with what I've achieved and accomplished in my life. So if you don't have anything better to say than that, I suggest you move along. Either that or say it to my face instead of being a coward keyboard warrior, because I'm not afraid. You know, what else do I have to live for right now? Not much. You know, I've already been a victim of this for a very long time. And I'm really sick and tired of it because I honored my country. And until jerks like you can step up and honor your country, till you've seen real action and you stepped into the heat of the battle, seen death and destruction, then don't leave a horrible, rude comment. But I have, and I've seen enough and been through enough, and I'm sick and tired of being a victim. You know, what's wrong for asking for help out into the world? What's wrong for asking for help from the country and the people that you put your life on the line for and protected and honored? What's wrong with that? You know, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't do drugs. I'm just a guy that's trying to get his life back together from the mass amounts of organized crime and domestic terrorism that I've been put through by my own country and people. It's gotten to be a very serious situation. They stole classified documents and retained those documents in violations of Title 18 U.S.C. 641. And, you know, I don't think anybody would really like to be held at gunpoint in violations of national defense that they worked for. It's kind of a serious situation. But that's where I'm at today with everything, and I don't really know what to do. I'm not getting much help. And I challenge you to really go out and try to get help from any law enforcement anywhere. They just totally ignore you, sideskirt the issue, sidestep it, refuse to help, deprivation of rights, discrimination, violations of the 14th Amendment of Equal Protections, standing in breach of contract every day, and you can't get nothing done. I mean, it is absolutely helpless and hopeless. And this is a fight for my life. I don't have anything else that I can do possibly other than reach out for help, because I tell you what, trying to accomplish anything in this country all alone is absolutely hopeless. And if you don't have friends or you don't have family, you're dead. People steal away your entire life and you're not getting help, and they terrorize you every day and just standing in violations all your rights and protections and stealing from you, and you ain't got no way to survive, no way to eat, and you've been at this for a number of years. It's gotten to be a very desperate situation in a fight that really pisses me off, because guys like Donald Trump, I knew Trump personally. I knew his entire family. And matter of fact, in the past, I've given Donald Trump millions of dollars on a handshake deal for business, fact and truth. And now he is a sitting president, and knowing that I'm a veteran, and he personally knows this, these people all know this. All the congressmen, all your state reps, all the people up in big government, they all know for a fact who I am. And they know the real truth. And not one of them has stepped out to help me, even after requesting. Matter of fact, I made a request for a congressional, and what they did, they wrote me back and side-skirted me off to something else, and that's what these people do. They don't want you to step up. They don't want to hear from you because they don't give a shit about the American people, period. And so all they do is try to reroute you, subvert everything, and counterintelligence on everything to keep you from even reporting a crime. That's what they try to do, and that's how horrible your country, the United States of America, really is. And I feel sorry for our veterans. You know, I even got past history that goes back in, I tried out for the Olympics in the past. I went to competition shooting, tried out for the bobsled, skiing. I even did the curling stuff at one point in time. I was going to try out for the archery competitions at one time. Just never did get very far in it. But anyway, been there, done that. Had other things to do at the time. But just to say, I'm a victim of all this. And, people are real jerks. There's a whole heck of a lot of things out there that I didn't work on and didn't belong to me. There's a whole lot of other people that do. But I know my own life, and I know what belongs to me, and I know the revolution that I helped to start in this country and around the world that has written history through a lot of technology. All a big part of my life. And the whole thing is some of these people have haters out there. They got people that are paid off to be stalkers and gang stalkers. They have people that actually do this kind of stuff, and they try to hurt you and harm you. Trust me, I've been through it all. And I've lost a big portion of my life because of organized crime. And it's gotten to be real old. Y'all make fun of it. What are you going to do? The next step, you see on channel such and such news that they found my dead body in the ditch line, murdered. Or worse. Is the United States of America so far gone that you put out a cry for help, that you need help, that you're a good man? It's like, look, I need some help in this situation because I don't really want to die and I don't want to suffer anymore. I just like to be happy and I need some help. So that whole thing about trying to make some friends, and because I'm all alone in this, and that's always the problem, all alone, and there's never any good people to help out, but there's always plenty of bad people. Plenty of people always willing to take you down and steal your entire life away, but there's very few people, far and few in between, that want to step up, step out, and help you out. But the few that have, thank you for helping me make it as far as I have. And that's the only reason I've stayed alive this long, is because of the help of complete strangers. You know what it's like to honor your country and be a multi-billionaire and be begging for your life, all because of organized crime? Literally. I took bullets for my country, and I'm having to beg for my own life. I fought for my country. Now I'm having to fight against my country. What is right about that? Anybody want to answer that one? You fight for your country, then you have to fight against your country. Who needs enemies when you have your own fellow Americans, right? Is that the way America is supposed to be, the United States? Is that what this here horrible country and government has become? Just a bunch of terrorists and thieves and organized crime syndicates? I mean, come on, it's got to be better than that. And the United States of America and the people are supposed to be more than that. But when I'm not talking from a normal perspective. I'm talking from a high-end perspective. That came with my job. I performed the job. I didn't not do my job. I always did my job and helped write a part of history. And all these people know it, and they know who I am. And not one of them could even do the decent, moral, ethical thing and help me out. I don't choose to be stranded outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I put in for jobs and everything else. They wouldn't even give me a job. I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's, even after having a McDonald's gold card, and having it stolen from me a while back. I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's. I went to temp agencies, construction, whatever. Tried my best and in person, and that wasn't good enough. Trying to do the whole online thing, I haven't had one response back. Everybody else I went to tells me, fill out applications online. That's the way we do things. I've not had one response back from anything or anybody. And I've tried. I really have. And the other part has been advocating for myself and trying to fight with the Veterans Administration for help. Trying to fight with get a hold of a human being, a live human being that has any common sense whatsoever in the United States has been a very difficult challenge. Being a veteran and having all of my pay and stuff, they hit me with all these cyber crimes, stole all of my information, all of my logins, stole all of my rightful true credentials and IDs. And trying to get my life back together has been impossible. And they expect you to be the investigation department. They expect you to be the person that has all the right resources that they have. Look, I don't have anything. I'm sitting beside the road stranded. That's why there's 450,000 people that are employed with the Veterans Administration that are supposed to handle this kind of stuff. 450,000 employees in the Veterans Administration of the United States of America, and not one of them can seem to tell me or get me back what belongs to me, which was required in less than 14 days supposed to. What's wrong with America? A whole lot. These people are stealing every aspect of my life, from convenience stores to stock shares, holdings, royalties, revenues, patents, copyrights, entire companies, stealing all of my company rights and benefits. The United States of America is standing in breach of contract to USERRA, which was supposed to restore me back to or compensate me for my losses at 100%. They didn't do that. There's nobody in this country does anything. Since when do you live in the United States of America and you're supposed to have inalienable rights called the United States Constitution? At what point in time do you have to say, I'm going to have to express that I have those rights? They're supposed to be unalienable rights. That means they are God-given rights, national rights, by the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution, that you should not have to assert your own rights. They're inalienable rights. So, what's wrong with America now? The massive amounts of human trafficking because of socioeconomics? The massive amounts of many people getting done wrong? All this pay for play and human trafficking of people all through your system? It seems to be what it is. They create problems so they can solve problems. And that's really what it is. I used to work in all this stuff in technology and computers. You want to know how it really is? Computers don't get infected with viruses, period, unless it's man-made, period. They create the problem so they can sell a product to solve it. That's how it really goes. It's just like a fuel injection on a vehicle. A fuel injection on a vehicle does not fail ever, period, until it's loaded up with a new program or the hardware in it wears out and it has to be replaced. Same thing with a computer. It does not change. Nothing goes wrong with it. It's all because of crime, period. And the reason all your computers get infected with viruses and everything else is simply because of crime. And some of these people actually do this stuff They create the problems to solve the problems to sell you a product. Just like the same people when I run all the COVID studies and federal contracts and investigations on that shit. These people going all the way back to the Cold War era. And people think the Cold War era simply meant that we went silent and nuclear. That was not true. It was all about biological back then. That's a real truth. And it was about biological threats all across the world. Because there was a lot of bad people back then still doing bad things. Well, guess what? We still have some of the same bad people today doing some of the same bad things. And, here we're going to create some kind of new sickness. Now everybody's going to get sick from the flu now. And now you're going to have to sell all these here billions of dollars worth of flu medicine. You don't think it ain't true? Then you are part of the problem and you are asleep. It's just like the computer viruses and all this hacking. It don't just happen by accident. These are freaking criminals doing it. And they're creating a whole lot of things and a whole lot of problems for a whole lot of people just so they can make money. And they're getting away with it legally because nobody's smart enough to step up, step out and say, hey, we know what's going on here. But that's the way they do stuff. And that's what's going on. And that's how I lost my entire life. They stole my ID me, my LifeLock. Can't even get a hold of LifeLock. Can't even get a hold of ID me. Got lawyers and attorneys out there with, client privilege that they're supposed to maintain all my past filings. I've even tried to contact some of these people and they wouldn't even provide me with my past documents and representation through major national law firms. Truth and fact. So what's wrong with people? They're corrupt. It seems like everybody's corrupt. And especially, when you're a veteran and your own country betrays you, that's a serious problem. A very serious problem. They hacked into entire national database archives, national personnel record centers, which is considered, if you know public law, and I can take you and show you the provisions and have them right here, right in front of me. But public law, part of that is national infrastructure and critical infrastructure of the United States of America, which is considered any government program going all the way from national archives all the way down to a water treatment plant in a city water system. Doesn't matter. That's part of critical infrastructure, and that is the basics and the basis of homeland security provisions on all this technology. Do they keep up with it? Absolutely not. Some of these people I've been around to these places are still using outdated computers, computer systems, programs. They're all being hacked very easily. And it's not because there's a flaw with the program. It's because of criminals. It's because they put viruses on, hack them, and do everything else. They create problems to solve problems to sell you a product. And that's how it really goes. And if people are so stupid that they don't wake up and see what's really going on, how many more Americans have to suffer all this kind of bullshit? The whole body of American people continue to be attacked also that a couple companies out there can thrive and make billions. So you got a handful of people out there that can walk off with millions of dollars every year, sitting back on big CEOs making, $30 to $80 million a year while they're infecting your computers, wiping out your life and selling you products that you don't really need because you're being targeted to begin with. And that's how things really go, y'all. That's the real truth. And there's billions of losses and many lives destroyed by these same people every day, every year. Countless of them. That's what happened to me. And attacking me with cyber crimes, physically attacking me, being physically held at gunpoint and robbed, stolen credentials, stolen IDs, stolen property, and never stopped. And when it's hundreds of people all against one man, that's a big situation. And it's a serious situation. They all didn't stop. And I have no help. It's difference when you have one person to help you in the world, one true friend, step up, step out and say, I'll help you out, man. Because you got to starve to death alongside the road. Here, I'll help you out with some work, give you a job for the day or something. Earn some money. I've tried to even ask that. I don't care. I'll rake leaves in the yard. I don't really care. I'm hungry. I need some food to eat. And it's to the point that, if you ever have PTSD is a real thing. And I wouldn't have said that I had PTSD, but I went through a lot of horrible things. And I did all the personal studies, and I used to have all my credentials, and I did all the personal studies into PTSD and the symptoms and the things for veterans and for other people, first responders and people that deal with a lot of trauma. I did all those studies originally. And the Service Animals for Veterans program, I did all that too. As a matter of fact, what led me into doing the Service Animals for Veterans program and some of this stuff was immediately after the Chris Kyle incident. And that's what prompted me to do a lot of those things. I seen the need and said, look, this can't happen anymore. We can't have this happening. We have problems, and that the United States of America is not doing their job. Why don't you go to a shelter? Because you know why? When you go to a shelter, because there's a lot of people there that do drugs. There's a lot of people there that's got a lot of problems. And do you know what it's like trying to solve your own problems when everybody else has got problems too there? There ain't nobody helping those people either. And going to a shelter, look, I have real estate. I'm being stolen. I've got billion-dollar business being stolen from me every day. I'm a United States veteran with decades of honor to my country and an honorable man, and I deserve better than being stuck in some shelter for the third time in my life, fighting for my life by the organized crime syndicate of the United States of America. These are crimes. Really, to be honest with you, Dan Bongino and Cash Patel ought to get their ass up and in gear and help me out with some of this, because that's what they're supposed to be. Clean up America, right? Make America great again, right? The only thing some of these people are doing are making their own pocketbooks fat instead of helping anybody else out that's really going through some shit. But why me? Because I have been attacked by socioeconomic standards. I've written a part of history in this world. It came with part of my career, bound contracts from the United Nations all the way through military, Department of Defense, federal government, the whole 9 yards. You've been there, done that, and it's all part of things I'm entitled to. And yeah, no, shelters won't help. Matter of fact, I just left the only reason I had any fuel left in my vehicle, I went to one of those places the other day asking for help. They give me a $25 fuel card, and I didn't have much for clothes left, so they sent me to another place after I fueled up my vehicle, and they give me some clothes to wear. And that was it. And I went back to the place, and they were saying they provided all these other resources, but they really didn't. And I talked to them again, and they said, nope, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. We're not going to help you. So that's just kind of how things go for me. And it's really bad because, I had corporate ownership and certain things, and, even like Red Cross, Salvation Army, I had all my corporate cards even in that. And they steal all that too. And I go back to some of those organizations asking for help. They wouldn't even help me at the corporate level that they were supposed to. You just didn't not want to help yourself. Yeah, I help myself. I've helped myself plenty. Help myself, let me tell you what it's like. Help yourself. How many people have you had trying to murder you? How many people have you had in your own government stealing from you? How many Department of Defense contracts have you run? How many jet airplanes have you flied? How many times have you created modern technology? How many rules, laws, and regulations have you written up? How many rules of engagement of war? How many things did you help build the Homeland Security Department? How many missing children have you helped to recover? How many dead bodies have you stacked up with your own hands? Help myself? I've more than helped myself, lady. Trust me on that. It's the problem with corruption, organized crime. How many hundreds of police officers do you have to ask for help? How many legal processes of rights do you have to be violated against before somebody takes notice? That's what these people get paid to do. And when you report to them a felony and say, look, I'm a victim, and these are felony crimes going on, and you report to them under a Title 18, Chapter 4, misprision of felony, you relieve yourself of the duties of saying, look, this happened to me. Now, I'm not responsible anymore. That makes them responsible. And when they swear to oath, be it in the Veterans Administration or any other federal government agency, they take an oath to uphold and the same to defend against foreign or domestic, and furthermore other oaths, and they violate against it every day. So, these people are sworn to oath. Now, let me ask you a question here. Help myself? That's a really stupid thing to say to somebody. Now, if you think I could help myself and I'm worth all this money in my bank accounts and I've already filed police reports and tried to get something done about the people stealing from me, and I've already tried contacting all these other agencies that have control over my life and my finances right now, don't you think that is helping myself? What else you expect me to do? Go in there and, physically assault these people and force them to give me what belongs to me? I mean, seriously, you have to have common sense in this. No, shelters don't help with jack shit. Not when you're a veteran and not when you're billion-dollar business. You people are way mistaken. How many shelters have you been to? How many bad situations you been to in your life? How many billion-dollar companies you had stolen from you? Not very many. And I don't think you people are understanding some of the comments I'm seeing on here when you're simply asking for help. And if that's the best comment that you have to offer, don't, because I'm not looking for all this other stuff. I've been through it. I'm looking for a real friend out there, somebody that's got enough integrity to help me out in this situation. That's what I need. And that's why I'm on here and asking, because I'm desperate and in absolute desperation for help. I'm located about 15 miles outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Right now, kind of sort of stranded beside the interstate. Been here a while. And I had hoped as a last hope, because I did have a bank account in this town, going all the way back from 2011 when I did all the storm cleanup and donated millions into this town for all their economic development and storm cleanup and helped their town. I had a bank account here in the Truist Bank, and they stole my bank account here. It's just like everything else. I've tried to go around and get help. And, I call up their police department, and where I had past reports filed, and now they're telling me my reports are missing. So, help myself? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, same place as last time. Yep. I'm still here. You know why? Because I don't have any other way to survive. People are always such assholes. And, if you don't have anything other to comment than be a complete asshole, don't talk to me. Because you don't know me that well to make those kind of statements, and you sure as shit don't know history. Most people didn't fight real wars and battles, and they never seen any real action. I have. And I honored my country, and I protected dumbasses just like you making the horrible statements to me that you are. And that's pretty horrible. People that protect and lay down their life for you in the ultimate sacrifice, and that's what you get back from your own country? I don't really know what to do, but all I can tell you is that I'm just at I'm a ground zero here, and just I don't know what to do. Well, I know even if you wanted to send cash, I have no way of receiving that because the last card I had, they hacked it last weekend and stole it too. So it's compromised, and that was from my last business transactions. So that all went by the wayside too. They finished stealing it also. So even if you wanted to send me something, I wouldn't even have any way to receive it. I'm not asking for cash because I couldn't even receive it if I wanted to. It's one of those things that I need help in person just about, and resources, and to get something done and accomplished with some of this. Even a job, offer me a job. I'll go to work. Whatever. I'm not afraid to earn it. I've already earned it in my lifetime. I built billion-trillion-dollar businesses and helped write history and change the entire friggin' planet. So I'm pretty sure that I've more than earned my share. But most people don't understand what it's like to have PTSD either from being under extreme attacks. And I'm just getting over some physical injuries of being assaulted a while back. So that's been a really serious situation too. Need your patio rebuilt and some revisions. I might be able to help you out. I'm willing to work. I just need some help, and I need some opportunity right now because I went to all the temp agencies around here. I finally ran out of resources, and eventually the human spirit breaks and you just lose all hope. I mean, when you're fighting with the government every day, and these people, they're really horrible people. I mean, I'm supposed to be retired. They're stealing my retirements. Somebody else that is not me is stealing my retirements and my paychecks. They're stealing my savings accounts, all of my bank accounts to my personal private business. They took violations in national defense and stole aspects of national defense, which are some major federal crimes. I mean, I used to fly and design jet airplanes, you know? So what does people actually expect? You know, anything from ownership in Apple to Microsoft and all this other stuff? It's all my tech. And I have ownership in it all and legal rights to it, and these people are stealing from me every friggin' day. Who wouldn't try to advocate for themselves or speak up or speak out about it? You know, I mean, you see Bill Gates laying up in a homeless shelter somewhere? Nope, you sure don't. But I'm also a member of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and have rights to it and put numerous millions of my own money into it. And now guys like Warren Buffett's still stealing from me. He's stealing billions from me. While I trusted the man while I was on active duty to my country. And I personally split my stock shares to diversify and help build companies like Apple and supply a lot of other jobs. And that man's still stealing from me today. So if you think like people like him really give a shit whether you're alive or dead, no, they don't. They're stealing billions and they've been getting away with it for a very long time. And they perpetrated right on the national news media, all this bull crap out there. And they keep putting out and brainwashing people while they're ripping my life away. Just because I work classified and top secret things and stayed under the radar on a lot of things my entire life, they stand in the spotlight of the media while they steal my life away. Until it got so bad to the point I could no longer do it anymore. And now I'm in a fight for my life. And I'm not going to have any life left if some of these idiots don't help me in my country or stand up in law enforcement and enforce the laws, policies, rules, and regulations that are in place that I'm entitled to. So I'm an internationally protected person. Who else are you going to talk to that formed the World Trade Organization with the United Nations? Probably not very many people. And chances are, if you do talk to those people, they're not going to be stranded, struggling for their own life survival, sitting alongside the highway. And the problem is, you know, going back into World Bank, and Seco, all that, had affiliation there too. Used to have ownership in MasterCard, the credit card company. Guys like AJ Singh Banga, seems that he stepped up and stepped out, took the things I had in the past, guys like that, and some others, stole my part in MasterCard. That's truth. I mean, it's been no less than an invasion of the United States of America, and they come in and just take over the entire country without ever firing a shot. That's really truth. Because America is horrible and our government's horrible, and they don't prevent any of this stuff. And so what are you fighting for? Why do we have a military when they do nothing? They say they defend against foreign or domestic threats. Well, obviously they're not. Obviously they're not doing anything. Because the United States of America has a whole lot of threats against it right now. And when the body of the American people are falling apart and your government's doing nothing to prevent that, you got all these intelligence agencies, all these federal agencies, they don't do jack friggin' shit. You get all these government employees out there that are working remotely. They're sitting up with their fan and, feet in the sand and sipping a margarita and drinking their little lattes every day, working remotely. They don't give 10 shits about anybody. They have no human emotion left anymore, most people. They don't care, simply put. And that's a problem, because when you try to get resolution to some of this stuff and you can't, I've been attacked by a lot of very rich, famous people, celebrity-style people. They get away with it every day because they have the fame and fortune to do so, all while they're stealing my life away. So anybody that would like to help me, send me a direct message, private message or whatever. I can't just keep doing this and reaching out for help. I'm going to be dead before long. My health is already failing. And, I need some time to breathe and to recover from some of the suffering I've been through and need some help. So if anybody would like to help me reclaim my life, I'm worth a whole lot of money and I can make it worth your while in the end. I can promise you that. And I'm not afraid to sign legal agreements to do so because I speak a truth. I am the truth 100%. And I don't play around about it. I'm 100% serious. I'll testify under a federal grand jury, whoever, whatever, however, whenever. I don't really care because I'm speaking the truth 100%. You want notarized legal financial agreements? Do that too. I'm not afraid. Let's go to the courthouse and get it done. I just need some help, and I need real, and I need now. And I need real friends. So, shout out to you. If you want to help out, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Direct message me if you care any at all. But, stupid people really aggravate me. And I don't like people making horrible comments about my life when they don't know me like that. And they don't know real history. And they think that they know something and want to offer all this advice and resources. Been there, done that. They provide nothing. And if you've ever been there to those situations, you'll see for yourself what it's really like. And when you live my life, and with what this concerns and the importance and the value of it, you totally understand maybe the significance of it. And, a mass deprivation of rights and discrimination is horrible. Some of these people could have made a difference, and they have chose not to, and they did so maliciously and deliberately. I'm supposed to be retired, drawing my paychecks. I got money sitting in the banks, in numerous banks. Can't get to it because I can't get no help. And I continue being a victim by all this organized crime every day. That's a problem. So anyway, shout out, peace out. Message me if you care. And if you don't, whatever too. You can't ask people that don't have any sense of humanity at all. That's just the way it is. But anyway, I don't know what else to do. I'm taking the last opportunities I have while I still have phone time left and access to some data to try to get a message out there, to try to get some help from somebody, somehow, some way, some form, fashion. And I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to advocate for myself. And trust me, I've been 9.5 years being attacked, and I've been the last solid 3 years off of walking off a military base and turning in one base pass. And I've been 3 years trying to unwind all this because of the massive conflict of interest and the massive amounts of crimes and organized crimes I've been a victim of. So, in 3 years, I'm a very intelligent guy, and I've tried everything under the sun in this country to gain some help and to get resolution to the situation. Matter of fact, I've been to several FBI headquarters, probably about 6 of them, and been to 22 different veterans locations, and still no help. Been there, done all this. Been to numerous community resources, and some of those people are really horrible. Matter of fact, some of them threaten my life. It's, you can't imagine how bad it really is. And some of the homeless shelters, I come back up out of Washington, and I left one homeless shelter, and some of the people that were in charge of the homeless shelter, you know what they were doing to some of the people that were disabled? They were abusing these people in ways that you cannot imagine. And some of these people were drawing checks like disability checks and stuff like that, and they were legit disabled people that needed help. And some of these people in charge of these places, they were taking advantage of these people. Other people, I've even seen to the point that some people in these homeless shelters and stuff like that, they would take life insurance policies out on some of these people and collect life insurance policies on them. You don't think that kind of shit don't happen every day? You're sadly mistaken, because this is an evil world full of evil people. Seen it. So, think again about what you know about some of your communities out there. There's some really great people out there in some of these places, some of them not so much. But that's the world you live in. So without good, kind, ethical people that actually care about humanity and making a difference in the world, the evil and the corruption and organized crime gets way out of hand. How do I know? Because I'm a victim. And I've had my entire life stolen by a whole lot of people that sit in the spotlight in the media and on national news television every day while they're stealing my life away. And that is a fact. That is a truth. 110%. And I'll testify to that under any legal court of law in any form, fashion, or way anywhere in this world. Period. And under penalty of perjury or oath. Because I don't lie about my life. Period. So anyway, thanks. If you'd like to help me, I'd appreciate it. Have a great day. Oath. Because I don't lie about my life. Period. So anyway, thanks. If you'd like to help me, I'd appreciate it. Have a great day. I tried to reach out on here earlier. If there's anybody around the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area that could provide any work or a job for me, I would appreciate it. I'm going through a lot of things and have been robbed, and it's very serious. I'm down to no food and almost out of fuel in my vehicle. I need some help. I'm tired of explaining my life to people, but I've been robbed, trying to get some help, and stolen identity, and it's very serious. And I'm down to having nothing, so I need some help. If anybody would like to offer me a job, there was a lady earlier offered me a job for to help rebuild a patio or something. I would be more than happy to help out, do whatever I can. But I do need some help, need some work. I've tried putting in my application around places, and I didn't go so good, and fighting with the Veterans Administration has been of no help whatsoever. And I continue having all of my pay and retirements and all of my login information, being a victim of all the cyber crimes and stolen identity. Very much in need of help. So the VA's been no help. The DFAST government in general has been no help. I really don't know what to do about anything, and I'd like to have some sense of normalcy in my life and some help. You know, a job would be nice right now, or whatever. Any way you could help me out. I can't really accept any money or anything like that. I can't accept any money over the internet because I have no way to do that. I couldn't accept anything even if you wanted to send me anything to help me because of all the stolen identity and everything else. So I don't even have any way to accept anything like that. So it would have to be in person, secure location, you know, meet up, job, whatever. And, you know, if you know, like any welding jobs, things like that, I'm not able to pack shingles up a roof all day long or anything like that, but I'm definitely needing a job, needing to work. I need some help. I have no food. I'm almost out of fuel again, and I'm down just to nothing but water. I have about 5 days of communications left. I'm trying to reach out for some help, and don't really know what to do about anything. So it's been pretty serious. And I'm not getting any of the help that I need from the United States government in any way whatsoever. And that has been just a complete horrible situation. And it gets old, you know. I mean, I helped build the SNAP program in the United States of America. And I even got forced to get a SNAP card here a while back, and they hacked it and stole it from me. So it's just one of them things, you know. I mean, no matter what I do, people keep hacking and attacking. So I don't really know what to do at this point, but I'm sick and tired of being a victim, just trying to get my life back together. I've done enough for my country and poured millions, billions into charity. I've done the best I can. I've given more money away than I could probably spend in a lifetime. It helped a lot of people all across the United States of America and the world. Some help back sure would be nice. And that's all I'm asking for, is just some kindness, some humanity, a show of good faith, and some help. What else can you do if you can't do anything to help yourself? You have to ask help from others. You know, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with things. I need some help from other people. And I need a job and need to earn some money. I got to eat. And with everybody stealing from me, my own country stealing all of my pay and benefits and retirements and bank accounts, things are very serious, and I'm stranded. And once 5 days of phone time runs out, and this half tank of fuel, I'm going to be left stranded alongside the road, and you're going to see me stranded alongside the road, waving a flag and begging for help like that. I don't know what else to do. Don't know where else to go. And, you know, I'm trying to rebuild my life here. I've been robbed. It's real simple. How would you like to go on vacation, be robbed your entire life, and be stranded out in the middle of the street and nobody would help you? There has been some people that have helped me, I can say that, or I wouldn't have made it this long. Thank you if you're one of those people that has helped me. I owe you and I'll pay you back someday. I promise that. But, right now I'm trying to get my life back together. Don't know what to do about the situation. It's gotten to be a very serious situation. It's a RICO criminal enterprise right now. I mean, these people are major white-collar level crimes and stuff like that. Major bank crimes. A lot of big business crimes. And I'm just in a bad way. That I need help. So if you'd like to offer me a job, direct message me. I'm outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I am definitely in need of help. And, I've done my job for my nation, and I'm trying to rebuild my life. I'm supposed to be retired. These people are stealing my retirements, and I've been a long time fighting with the criminals in government and those that are stealing from me. And stolen identity is a serious situation. So trying to help myself, yep, I have tried to help myself. I've been to, 5, 6 different FBI locations through different states. I've been to several military bases, talking to the retirement specialist centers. They wouldn't help me. I've tried to talk to numerous police, sheriff's departments. They wouldn't help me. They all tell me, it's a federal issue. We're not going to do anything. So nobody will help me there, and then trying to get hold of anybody in the federal government is impossible. So I don't really know what to do about anything other than continue being a victim of crime until I can get something and try to file under 18 U.S.C. 1361 and force these people and compel them to do their job because they're not doing their job. They're violating against me. So I guess I'm going to have to get some money together, work a little while, and get into a courtroom and get a judge to order that all these people do their job because they're not doing it. And once they get ordered to do their job, they're going to be found out of obstruction of justice and criminals. Because there's a whole lot of them in the United States of America. They ain't doing their job right now as they're supposed to. When you've been robbed and you're trying to get help and you report to a police officer and, hey, I need some help, they're not supposed to assault you. They're not supposed to beat you up. They're not supposed to hand you documents and put them behind their back and walk away. They're not supposed to deny you and violate against your rights. They're supposed to conduct an ethical investigation and take a report on that. That's what normal, healthy, good people do anyway. Not the people I've spoke to. And that's why I'm in this situation, because nobody will do their job. So they're basically just saying that, hey, you get out and you go on vacation somewhere and you get robbed, you just get to die in whatever town you're in. Nobody's going to help you. If you don't have friends and family, you're just dead. Because nobody's going to enforce the law. Nobody's going to stand up to enforce the policies and hold within the contracts bound to the United States. And trust me, I had plenty of contracts with my country, and they owe me. And that is the truth. So the massive amounts of corruption is going on right now. It's very serious. I need some help, y'all. Anybody want out there provide me with a job? Light construction, clean up, handyman work, welding, light fabrications and stuff like that. I'm all up for anything like that. But I need to have some food. I got to have some food to eat. Anybody who'd like to help? Offer me a job, help me out in person, whatever. Let's go to the courthouse. You want to help me out business-wise, help me get a lawyer, whatever. I'm worth billions. I got money sitting in the banks. I just need people to help me. I can pay back 100-fold. It's just a matter of kindness. Who out there is kind enough to help? Anybody? Don't seem like there is, but anyway, it's just kind of how it is. Who else are you going to talk to that's homeless and they can claim ownership to Apple iPhones and iPads and a big part of modern technologies and billion-dollar, trillion-dollar businesses, and just left without any food to eat? And as a veteran that honored his country above and beyond and saved a lot of lives, and yet I have nothing because my own country is so horrible and wouldn't help me. All those millions of dollars of campaign contributions to all those politicians over the years. Yep, you'd think one of those would step out and help you out. They sure didn't. But yet they steal billion-dollar Department of Defense contracts Somebody's getting rich sitting out on a beach, floating around in a boat somewhere. I can bet you that one. But that's what they did to me. Stole my entire life away. And I did my job my entire life. I always did my job. And right now I need some help. Anybody who'd like to help me, I sure would be thankful. We can go to the courthouse, draw up legal agreements, have it notarized, however you want to do it. Don't really care. Right about now, I tell you what, the United States of American flag, from what I've seen, it's a disgrace right now. With what our country's doing to our veterans and our soldiers and our American people, it sure don't represent what it should. I can tell you that. You see, the thing about patriotism has become a media hype. People lost all sense of honor to that flag. That's truth. Because what used to be, when you were a veteran, you honored your country, you got respect. Not being a victim of crimes by people working in remote positions and sitting behind their desks with suit and ties on. When you put in your life energy to a nation, you got that back. And people respected that. Not today. So, it's just not the same country anymore. It's a shame what's going on with our country. They've turned it into, it's an absolute nightmare. And I challenge you, being a veteran, being robbed and going through what I'm going through, I challenge you to go through this system and try to get help all alone with the mass amounts of discrimination that's going on, the mass amounts of violence and organized crime that these people take part in every day to harm and hurt other people, steal your entire life away, leave you to die and struggle for your own life out on the street. And that's what our country has become. That's what the United States of America has become. And trust me, back in the 90s, I helped organize and set up, did government legislation for the Department of Finance and Accounting Services. I also wrote the No Fear Act. Sure did. And that was because they tried to steal my life away once before, and I stepped up and finally got a foothold in some people that would stand next to me and believed, and I helped write up and draft the No Fear Act for the United States of America. Just like after 9/11, we didn't have a Homeland Security Department. Guess what? I helped do that also. So, I've got some history. My country owes me. I've got international history too, with the United Nations and NATO. Did my job there too, and I'm an internationally protected person. Fact. I did all the stuff with the World Trade Organization, NAFTA agreements, foreign trade policies, did trillions in foreign trade policies. The 401k system, specifically handpicked Abigail Johnson of Net Fidelity to help me finish out all the work of designing the protocols for stock share investments for the entire national 401k program. Did that too. Tried to give back and do ways of being proactive to help my people. And did I have to do all that kind of stuff? No, I did not. I earned my pay a long time ago. But while I was busy honoring my country and making things better for everybody else is stealing my entire life away. And then they steal my entire life away about what I worked for my country for. You can share, try to help get me more views, whatever. Like I say, right now, as far as financial help right now, I couldn't even accept money in any form of digital in any way possible. What I need a job. I need help in person. Whatever. Something like that. But all this here homeless shelter bullcrap, that ain't flying with me. I designed jet airplanes and jet fighters, and I used to be a military pilot, and I had civilian pilot license. And matter of fact, in Ozark, Alabama, what used to be Wallace Air, they actually stole and hacked into FAA records and stole all of my civilian flight records, because that was one of the last places I went to for training and to re-up on my pilot license. And they stole private aircraft from me too. Wallace didn't, but other people did. But Wallace, place there, yep. That Siegel, whatever it is, in Ozark, Alabama, they did steal all of my flight records. That is a truth. That is a fact. And I went there and was there just not long ago. So where am I right now? I'm west of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So I've made a few friends that's helped me out. There's some really good people out here. Some of them have helped me out, and that's been really kind and considerate. But I couldn't expect. You feel like you're a burden. But I've been robbed, and I'm trying to get my life back together, and I'm to the point that I don't know what else to do other than ask for help and beg for help. Third time in my life I've been at this position and have to beg for my own life. You know, guys like Warren Buffett wasn't such a horrible human being, would pay up what he owes in my own business and what belongs to me and the money I have sitting in the bank of companies and products that I built with my own hands and life energy and my own investments and bought into them, the companies, and built the own products. That's truth. I wouldn't have no worries. Bad decisions wasn't bad decisions. They were good, legitimate, ethical business decisions. Other people made bad decisions. I didn't. I created $1 billion, trillion industry. Fact, truth. Co-founder of Amazon also. Same year I formed the World Trade Organization with the United Nations. So while I was busy doing other aspects of my life and career, everybody else was busy stealing my life away. And I've worked within my own companies and business, off and on, a bunch. I maintained and balanced it all. But let me tell you, after you've been through an absolute nightmare and you did your job and you used to work classified through both private companies and work for your own country, and then they steal your life away, pretty serious situation. You know, bad decisions? No, I didn't make bad decisions in my life. I made good decisions. But anyway, I'm west of Tuscaloosa, Alabama right now. Probably 15, 20 miles. I don't know, something like that. 15 miles maybe. I really don't know what to do, but I know I need some help. And if there's anybody out there in planet Earth, United States of America, that would like to help me being a veteran, because the Veterans Administration would not help me. And I went to the Veterans Administration in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with a t-shirt on, printed in bold black letters that I wrote on with a magic marker, that I am a veteran, I have been robbed, here's what I need, here's my end goals, can you help me? Nope, nobody would help me. I sat down for over an hour with the Veterans Police. Would they help me? Nope, they wouldn't even take a paper report. Period. But they did offer, here, we'll put you in a program and we'll give you housing here and make sure you don't go hungry. He was kind enough to do that. But that's not what I'm looking for. I want my paychecks. I want what I earned. I want my savings and doing good things in this world. And I can't do that because I've been robbed by all these here white-collar level criminals in my own country. I didn't vote at all, to be honest with you. And at one point in time, I was a Trump supporter. And I've known his family personally. Matter of fact, I give Trump millions of dollars on a handshake deal one time. So, yep, I've known all these people. Who robbed me of what exactly? A whole lot of money and a whole lot of business. I'm a veteran, and they stole my pay, they stole my retirements, benefits, my savings accounts, wiped out property, real estate, the whole 9 yards. I've had my entire life stolen from me. Oh, I deserve this, huh? I deserve having my entire life stolen away? I deserve, after picking up dead bodies in your town and restoring and putting back billions into charity, building children's hospitals and cancer treatment centers, that you think I deserve this? You know, people are real jerks. You know, it's really sad that you get in here and you're trying to ask for help, begging for your life, and people just think it's funny because they steal your life away, try to end your life. No, I didn't vote for anything. Matter of fact, I didn't even vote, period, because I didn't see a valid choice to vote. You saying that I don't care about other people's lives? Oh, most certainly I do. I have gave billions into this. From Gulf Shores to Gulfport, Texas, all these storms and stuff. Oh yeah, I've given billions into charity in my lifetime. I've gave more money away than you'll probably ever dream of having. And gave that into charity to help other people. I put houses over people, businesses, the whole nine. Gave them jobs, gave them money, gave them cryptocurrency. I've helped a lot of people in my lifetime. And not just with a few dollars, I'm talking into the billions. That's a fact and a truth. When I gave Donald Trump, I tell you what, when I was a kid, a young kid, now this here goes all the way back to the early 90s. And I used to think that Trump was a great businessman and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of admired him back in the day. And, when you're trying to build a life as a young kid, you look to, I did big business and I looked to big business people. So I had a lot of respect at one point in time. And matter of fact, when his daddy's business, he came to me telling me his dad's business was going under, needed to save it. Well, I'd give him millions of dollars on a handshake deal. And he ended up turning around building Taj Mahal casinos. Never did get my money back, and now he is president, and I have written letters to Donald Trump, President Trump, I sure have. I've written letters to J.D. Vance. I've written letters to Attorney Inspector Generals, AIGs, OIGs. I've written letters to the FBI. I've written letters to a lot of people and trying to get resolution to the situation because I want what belongs to me. I worked for it and earned it, period. I mean, I'm a veteran. Good Lord, I earned my pay in retirements. Are you people stupid? I was entitled by bound contract to it. It was more than just honor and loyalty. It was a bound contract and a way to earn a paycheck too, That's called, ethical business. And the United States of America is not supposed to breach contract. Yes, I do. I did work for it. I worked for it my entire life. I've been working since I was a kid. I went on missions when I was a kid to help develop the entire modern USGS mapping systems and the first satellites in the sky on the mapping systems. That's truth. That's fact. Matter of fact, on the same mission on that, it was supposed to be a friendly environment, ended up being hostile. I ended up taking my first bullet in Purple Heart at about 15 years old. That's truth and fact. I had to be signed off on to even go, and it was supposed to be friendly. Turned hostile, and I ended up getting shot. Took my first Purple Heart at 15 years old. That's a fact and a truth. Well, Trust and Con, man, that would be hard to do right now because it seems like most of the United States of America is like. But these people walked off. They stole entire Department of Defense contracts. I was managing 13 major Department of Defense contracts. I had federal contracts on COVID studies. I had federal contracts on land border management. I got stuff that goes all the way back to GMO food crops and Department of Agriculture and stuff like that also. I was a very wealthy man with a lot of business. And all I can tell you is I simply just did my job. And I did my job for everybody else. And a lot of people profited off of me. Well, I have a hard time believing me. I don't really care what you believe. I'm telling you the truth. And it's already been with evidence before the Supreme Court and out of Washington, D.C. I've been before the United Nations Civil Rights Division. It isn't your matter of what you believe. I've already been there. Already been there and done that and proved it. And I did the work. I laid down the groundwork. Well, that's okay. I don't need people of non-believers, and I don't need nobody that don't support. You surround yourself with people that only seek to harm you and hurt you, that's all you'll ever get back. But I'm reaching out 100%. I can take you to, here I am in Alabama, and I can take you down to some courts that I was just at while I was active duty that they took and they frauded me out of small $1 million businesses and products and frauded the courts. How do I know? Because I went back to the courts and it was there. Just like when the Gulf properties down there, they stole entire properties from me on the coastal regions and did this while I was active. And, you know, the United States military was supposed to back me up on that and recover my property or compensate me for that. Yep, I did a lot of jobs in a lot in my lifetime. I sure did. You know, I found out that the more you ask for help, that there's always those people out there that they're not good people. And you people, I guarantee you, if you stranded struggling out on the street and hungry, you'd want help too. But you know, you see the true colors of people when you're in desperation and needing help. You see the desperation, and you see the true colors of people when you're in need of help. By the horrible way that they are, they don't know what you've been through in your life. Anyway, I need some help. I can't worry about everybody else, and I'm the one who needed for help again. It's the third time in my life, and I'd like to stay alive. And if you don't want to help, that's fine. Anyway, it's very disheartening trying to get on here and ask for help in a real life-threatening situation. And it's really sad because people don't care. Somebody needs to be removed as soon as possible. Who are you talking about? What are you talking about, impeaching Trump? I did call the cops. Matter of fact, I've talked to several hundred of them. I got 3 notebooks full of police reports here and not getting anything done. I've been to 5 different FBI headquarters. I've been to several military bases, and I've been to over 22 veterans locations, and not one person did anything to help me with stolen identity and the crimes. Why? Because it's been targeted. These people are doing it on purpose. You know, when you have ownership in billion-dollar business and you got people stealing that, you don't think these people don't have connections to ruin your life? You're sadly mistaken, because they do. And some of the cops, how my problems started with to begin with, was working aspects of advanced technologies for national defense, and I was held at gunpoint because I was hacked. And I went to deliver a secure transmission of data and paperwork and was further robbed. And people held me at gunpoint and stole my documents, period. That's how it all went down. But anyway, that's just how it is. And, you know, I used to design and fly jet aircraft. Had military pilot license and civilian. Helped do all the stuff in other states with their air evac, donated to them. Oh, did all kinds of cool stuff, you know. Why not get a job? Well, obviously you missed out on the conversation of where I have tried to get a job, and I am a business owner, and I'm a veteran, and I'm supposed to be retired, and they're stealing my entire life away, and I'm struggling stranded alongside the road with absolutely nothing right now. I mean, don't ask dumb questions to things that you don't know the answers to already when you miss out. I mean, I don't know if maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but here's the deal. I've been robbed. You think I chose to be sitting here alongside the road when I'm supposed to be retired and had my entire life stolen away after building billion-dollar businesses? After honoring my country and being a veteran and earning my paycheck and retirements and pay? You think I chose to be sitting alongside the road with no food? Y'all have to be a special kind of stupid to believe that I chose this. No, I didn't make this choice. Other people made this choice. They're called criminals. You'll see all kinds of bad people. Just like I used to recover missing children. There's 97,000 still unaccounted for missing children in the United States. And you don't think bad people don't exist? Seriously, think again about who some of these idiots are running around on the streets out here. They smile big every day. How do you know who people really are like that? Seriously? I used to have a federal career, military career, international career, United Nations career. Yes, I did fly planes. Matter of fact, I did. I had my military pilot license and civilian. Matter of fact, they stole private personal aircraft from me also. That is a truth and a fact. Yep, I sure did. I was a pilot. Were I a rock star? No, I was not a rock star, but I did have the opportunity. I could have been at one point in time. I do play music. I am a musician, It's one of my personal hobbies. I've worked in the music industry. I've written some lyrics for songs before for famous musicians. I used to know everybody. And I've created some stuff and worked in the music industry on music gear and equipment and stuff like that. I sure have. Nope, never been no DJ. Never done none of that, but I have helped some people set up and DJ equipment. But yeah, I help build programs like Cubasis. I help build Aria. I've worked with Line 6, Digitech, Fender, Gibson, Washburn, Takamine. Helped develop piezo electronic pickups. Worked with LR bags before. Helped build some stuff with Fishman. Have some stuff with, Bose. I helped do some stuff with some designs on QSC. And then, Boss. Boss, I had stuff with Boss and Roland. I worked on some stuff with the keyboards on Roland's. Matter of fact, why that is called Bixby AI and why it's called Boss equipment, because I used to be from places called Boss and Bixby. Those were my areas. So I had a very cryptic way of embedding my life into just about everything I did. Really a truth. And I was very cryptic in a lot of things throughout my life. So, that's just the way it is. Matter of fact, I helped to engineer in Six Flags over Mid-America in the state of Missouri a roller coaster called The Boss. Why? Because I'm from Boss. And true story. Helped to do engineering on the Superman, the Batman rides, and even the Colossus back in the day. And I even helped set up all their stuff for Fright Fest. And kept them from going out of business. Period. And I also had investments into a place in Indiana called Holiday World. Some of the people I used to know, I had ownership in the St. Louis Cardinals. And some of those folks, they retired out and invested in some of this along with me. Next thing you know, I'm being robbed. I got 2 RVs. I paid $1.5 million for one in a place called Nashville Coach outside of Nashville. They're stealing it. And then I had another one that I had custom built in Gallatin at a custom RV center that I paid another $1 million for and had it custom built, and they stole it and stole my money. Truth. And I have filed reports on it, 100%. Why? Because I paid for it. It belongs to me, and I'd like to have it. And they're stealing it from me. That was how I wanted to spend my life, going traveling around and enjoying my life and running business. That was how I wanted to do things. But seems like I can't do that now because I've been robbed and a victim of organized crime and domestic terrorism. And trying to reach out for help in the United States of America with your fellow citizens that you wandered around in their streets and picked up their dead bodies and helped their families and rebuild their towns after death and destruction. You'd kind of think that people would pay that back, with just kindness. I ain't asking. I give millions into charity. I wouldn't expect it back. I gave it with a good heart and good conscience in doing so. But, people with the level of kindness and humanity, I mean, you kind of expect kindness and humanity back. I mean, what's wrong with being that way, And kindness and humanity, I've seen a lot of bad things. And just like being here outside of Tuscaloosa in 2011, I was here for all the storms and cleanup and did all that, helped even organize some of the charities with some of the famous musicians back then, and stood shoulder to shoulder with Barack Obama right here. Matter of fact, that is truth. And just like in Quincy down there, helped build the prison down in Quincy, had contracts even on it at one point in time. They stole it too. And then in 2011, went from Tuscaloosa, Alabama here when the storms hit here, and went back to Joplin, Missouri, which was a class 5. And it took a lot of lives, total destruction of the town. It was really horrible. And picked up a lot of dead bodies there and helped rebuild them. A lot of business, poured a lot of money back in. Matter of fact, one of the ladies that I hired as a secretary that was helping me, she has walked off with several $100 million. And has still been stealing from me to this day. And stealing several $100 million out of that. And some of my investments, I had investments into Casey's General Stores, have ownership in some foreign and domestic oil companies, biofuel companies, and stuff like that. I personally did all the EPA, DNR regulations, and all that with Clean and Green, and did most of our ethanol fuel blend technologies. I did all that kind of stuff too. They're stealing all that from me also. So, I mean, it's been a pretty horrible situation to be in, and you think that your American people are better than that with love and kindness and respect and honor. It's like, I respect all y'all. You give respect and you get respect. And that's what I put my life to, and I saved a lot of jobs of a lot of people that were going out of business, tried to bring back great American products and companies. Competition in business got to be so bad, it was horrible. And if y'all don't know what economic terrorism is, then talk to me because I can tell you what it is. Economic espionage, been there too. Theft of intellectual property, been with all that also. Yep, it's been an issue for a very long time. All these people on satellite TV, yep, I have ownership in AT&T and DirecTV, personally did the mergers myself, bought it all out, went to congressional hearings. At one point in time, they tried to hit me with antitrust policies. And I went to congressional hearings on it. And they tried to hit me with antitrust and saying I was monopolizing on market and business. Well, guess what? You have the ability, and that's one of your unalienable rights, to unlimited contracting in the United States of America. And can't nobody tell you how you can do your business. So they tried to violate against that, and that one simple rule right there, that takes the cake on all. But most people are not smart enough to know that. And that's how some people in government, most people in government are. That's what they did to the American Indians. Here, we're going to come in and we're going to steal your land, and we're going to convince you that you're going to have to do something, this, and this, and abide by our policies after we steal it from you to be in compliance. A lot of these people still play the same bullshit every day. And for all of you that don't know what Magna Carta law is, Old English law, and how our Constitution became drafted to begin with and how all this came about, maybe you need to study Magna Carta law and understand how your country is the way it is and why it is the way it is. A lot of those same things are still in place today. So that's just how things really are. And if you don't understand your rights, these people will take them from you, and they play it like a game. And it's not a game. It's illegal, but they use legal systems and legal laws to get away with their crimes, to steal your entire life away. And that's why you have no rights in the United States of America anymore. And you can't even go to the police and report a crime. They tell you it's not their job, not their jurisdiction. Well, I'm sorry, it actually is. When it's matters of national defense, been through this in the past. And when you report matters of national defense and you're a Department of Defense contractor, and under Title 18 USC 799, that means your vehicle's protected. That means all your personal belongings are protected. And that means all your business is protected. So I'm pretty sure I know my laws, rules, and regulations and what I'm entitled to, whether anybody else does or not. And, they stole my IDs. I was actually robbed by some corrupt cops in another state. a while back. And some of those people stole my credentials. And they stole my IDs. That is a fact and a truth. So going up against some of the corruption in this country, it's not so easy. And not especially when it's organized crime. But if we had any, I guess if Kash Patel was a real FBI director and would step up and step out, maybe he could curtail some of this and get a handle on it. But it doesn't seem like him and Danny Boy Bongino is doing much about that. Obviously they're doing something, but they still haven't done anything about aspects of national defense being stolen. Still haven't done anything about billion, trillion dollar crimes and business being stolen. I could lead you all over to the United States of America and show you my life 110%. And, it's just disheartening to be sitting here alongside the road. I have no food to eat. And I'm simply just trying to reach out, get some help. I'm not afraid to work. Offer me a job. I'll start in the morning. Tell me a time and a place to be there. I'll be there. I need some food to eat. I need to earn a paycheck. I need some money in my pocket. I'm trying to rebuild my entire life right now from nothing after being robbed. And I've already earned my paycheck with money sitting in the bank and they're stealing from me. So it's not that I don't have property. They're stealing my real estate. It's not that I don't have money in the bank, because I do. They're stealing it from me. It's not that I don't have retirements and benefits and paychecks. They're stealing it from me. They're stealing my credentials. They're stealing my stock shares. They're stealing my patents. They're stealing my copyrights. And up against all this mass amounts of bullcrap. I've had nothing but trouble for 9.5 years. Nothing but trouble for 9.5 years since these people started attacking me. I had women's initiative programs going on that I contributed millions into. I had World Hunger Outreach programs going on that I contributed millions into. None of that came back to me. Everybody else lives happily ever after, floating around doing whatever they want like it's a paid vacation when it was supposed to be a charity that I was board members on. And instead, they walk away with all my money and leave me suffering over and over and over and over and over again. And law enforcement, let me tell you how bad law enforcement is. When you go back and you file Freedom of Information Act, and then there are corrupt cities that I already put money into and sit on economic development boards, and then I file under Freedom of Information Act and the Sunshine Laws for all the documents to expose some of the corruption because it directly ties back to my life and business. And then suddenly all of my past filings, even through the Supreme Court, when I went for polygraph tests under federal jurisdiction to the Supreme Court and had to do financial disclosures and present all of my evidence, I had it all then. And I laid it down to them. And now trying to get back all of my information on that, pretty serious thing. So, the Department of Contract Audit Agency, the Securities and Stock Exchange, SEC, and all that. Yep, I've had numerous filings through all these people. And trying to get all of my documents has been a problem. So, withholding the documents, the classified documents, I've got a list of federal law violations that these people are taking part in organized crime and a Title 18 USC 225 RICO criminal enterprise right now. And that's what it really is. So, I'm trying to rebuild my life from nothing and I'm going hungry. Needing work. Needing a job, something to earn some pay. But I'm kind of limited. I've suffered some physical injuries. I've got PTSD. I suffer from some physical injuries. I'm not going to be able to pack shingles up a roof all day long and bull crap like that. I'm not a young guy anymore. And I've suffered a lot of injuries and been through a lot in my life. But I've already worked for it and earned it. And I'd like to have my paycheck. And it would be nice if I could get the people, the corrupt criminals in the Veterans Administration, if I could even get a congressional hearing again. I'd be more than happy to go to a congressional hearing, lay down some real intelligence, or get in front of a real news media crew. And I do have ownership in networks, TV networks, national news networks. I have ownership in some of it. It's being stolen from me. So to try to reach out into the world has been very difficult. And trying to report a crime has been life-threatening to me. You know, I don't think anybody would like to be robbed and then have their entire life threatened. I'm sitting here worth a lot of money and I can't get to it because nobody will help me. 20 miles down the road here, had money sitting in a bank. They're stealing it, even after I give millions to their town. Picked up dead bodies in their streets, helping them rebuild. They still steal from me, and nobody'd help me. It's like that everywhere. You know, I mean, other than complete strangers helping me out, I wouldn't still be alive. So, you know, I've spent almost 3 years here living in a vehicle, trying to get my life back together and through numerous states and trying to do anything and everything that I possibly can to rebuild all this and rebuild my life. And I'm just a victim of crime. I've been robbed. It is that I didn't do my job because I did. But anyway, that's kind of where it's all at. I ain't really sure what to do. If you'd like to help me out, offer a job, direct message me, whatever. That would be really cool because I do need some help. And I'm willing to work. I need some food to eat. And I'd just as soon not go hungry. Thank you very much. Peace out.